Hey folks, so in this class, we're going to talk about the five parts to every business. And these five parts, they're going to be in any business, whether you're a lemonade stand or a global empire. So, the five parts to every business, what are they? So, it's value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance. So, obviously, if you are a lemonade stand, they're going to be a little bit different in terms of the complexity and the scale to a global empire. But let's go through a few examples of what this actually looks like in the practice. So, value creation, it's all about making a thing. So, if you're selling services, this might be a little bit different to whether you're creating physical products. But essentially, every business exists to create some kind of value for the end users or customers. The marketing side of things is really telling people that you made it. So, you made this thing and now you need to tell people about it. And of course, the reason that you do marketing is because you actually want to make some sales. So, you actually want to sell this thing that you've made to people. Once you've then made that sale, you actually have to deliver the value. So this is all about getting that product or that thing into the customer's hands and really delivering what you sold. The last part that we want to keep track of is going to be those finances. So obviously, if somebody's giving you money for the thing that you've made, you're going to need to keep track of that somehow. And that's really what finance is all about. So regardless of what your business is, these five things are going to be consistent across every single business. So, what does that actually look like? So, let's say we are that kind of lemonade stand. The thing that you're making, well, it's lemonade. What's your marketing? Maybe it's just a stall with a sign telling people to come by and buy your lemonade. How do you sell it? Maybe you've got some kind of payment reader, something like Square, popular these days for actually completing that sale. Then delivering it, right? So this is like where you actually put the lemonade in the cup and hand it over to the person. In terms of keeping track of your finances, I've been pretty generous here to say like Excel document. That's a pretty fancy lemonade stand, but maybe it's even just like a pen and paper ledger where you're just recording the sales that you've got coming into the business that particular day. And if at all, perhaps in the lemonade stand example, you're not as concerned about that kind of thing. So how does it change then when I go to a consulting business? So in this case, the value that I'm creating is actually my consulting services. Marketing, well, there's tons and tons of different ways that I could do marketing. I could do more traditional marketing through, say, print media or television advertising, or maybe something a little bit more targeted and specific like Facebook ads or Google ads online. In terms of selling, so usually a little bit different, potentially be issuing an invoice. So, in terms of the way that I'm collecting my money, it's perhaps not upfront if I'm a consulting firm. Actually, maybe it's something where I'm collecting the money a little bit later on. And when I'm selling it, I'm actually issuing an invoice. Deliver what I sold. So let's say I'm a freelance web developer. Maybe the website is the deliverable. So that's really the thing that I'm going to hand over and deliver at the end. And then keeping track of things. So again, Excel document could work pretty well here. It does for a lot of small businesses, but certainly once you get to this level of tracking potentially thousands and thousands of dollars, really you want to start looking at having something like accounting software to start to keep track of your finances in your business. So that's kind of regardless of what business you're in, there's all these five parts are going to remain consistent, but they obviously change with the business. So where does product design play a role here? And for me, design can have a role to play in real specific spots. So while I think it's critical for us as product designers and UX designers to be aware of what these five parts are, I think there's a couple of places in particular that we'll tend to spend a lot of our time. So to kind of go with one of the ones that I haven't highlighted first, perhaps you actually are a marketing designer. So in our team, we've got designers who primarily work on our marketing website. And in that case, maybe your focus actually is about telling people that we've made it or really focusing on selling that product to people. In my case, I'm working in the product. So I'm really focused on actually making the things and then making sure those things are delivered. So talking to customers to make sure that we're making the right thing, but then also working with our own product development team to make sure that we're delivering the thing that we promised to customers. So making sure the thing that actually comes out at the end of the process is similar to the thing that we're talking about and that we've promised up at the start. So I think while absolutely designers can have a role to play in marketing, sales, and even the finance side as well, I think the places where we can really focus our time is going to be in these value creation and value delivery. In terms of that example, like how can a designer be involved in the finance? I think this is something you'll expect to see more as you progress in your career. So when you become, say, a manager, often you're going to have some responsibilities for the staff that you're managing, but perhaps you're going to have things like a budget. So in my case, for example, we've got a user testing budget, which we have to manage. And therefore, I start to have to pay attention to what's the finance situation? How much money are we actually spending to talk to customers? And is that feasible? Are we getting a good return on investment for that money that we're spending? So while it mightn't be the primary aspect of your job, it's certainly something that you can see coming up, especially as you progress in your career as a product designer.